Okay, welcome back, Pahrump. I'm Dr. Michael Reiner of the Independent Doctors of Pahrump on our Monday night show. For those who've tuned in late, I'm sitting here with Vern, the owner of the KPVM. We're talking about his new exciting House of Health, which is a 24-hour, 365-day-a-year show on health care, and we were talking about the different things they were going to be bringing. Summary is so far it seems to be a segment where you'll be able to actually view different practitioners in the town. You'll be able to view the seminars that come to town about health. You'll be able to meet some of the local providers, the veterinarian, anybody that's related to healthcare. And before the break, we were talking about even bringing in people like lawyers and other accountants that may help you deal with some of the downside to the cost of healthcare, which I do not see going down. And in fact, I do see it going up. There seems to be a shortage of doctors, and when supply and demand is the issue, well, then, you know, as the supply gets thinner, the demand goes up, and then the price tends to go up. But we've seen everything going up in this world. I don't know how they continue to do it, but that's a topic for another conversation.
When is this all going to happen? It's happening now. I just, as you know, I mean, I was out for 2 weeks and I just got back. And before we left, we worked on a bunch of stuff, and we're working on stuff every day to try to make this program come to life. It's going to be on 46.4, and it's 24/7. And we're going to see probably sometime in September the life of it start breathing much more with that. We're loading up some stuff with the computer right now. We're just kind of waiting for it to finish processing a couple things, and then we'll show you some stuff. But I think the uniqueness about this whole program is that if you can, the two ways of getting involved, of course, is the seminar portion of it or the actual DRTV portion of it, and which is House of Health. You have those 5-minute segments. You got a lot of education going out there, but on the flip side of it, on these seminars that are coming to town, you can't make it. They're at the Pahrump Nugget, or they're at the senior center. Maybe they're at the library. Maybe they're at the hospital. We record them. And when we record them, we replay them. And a lot of knowledge gets passed that way. And I think when this knowledge gets passed around, it's going to help people out quite a bit.
Well, I know they have a lot of health fairs in town, and they tend to be, people tend to go to these health fairs, and my impression is that it's not really a health fair. It's really a focal opportunity for advertising. So, oh, that's okay. I was happy to do that commercial for the House of Health. Yeah. But you know, you really don't get the educational things from the health fairs. Doctors are shaking hands. They're not really answering questions because there's somebody there. So I think this is a way to take away I think that's a useful tool, because you take away all of the glitz and glitter with a health fair and get right down to the information, which is what people do. And the other thing is, it's really hard to sit there for an hour and absorb all that information. And sometimes you have to replay things 3 or 4 times in order to really understand what people are trying to tell you. Mm-hmm. And if you could watch the same show 3 times, you'll get a higher level of understanding of what that person was trying to relay to you every time you watch it.
I agree with that. So, because it's repetition. The repetition is the mother of learning. But when you're at these, you're talking to 25 or 26 different people when you go to these events, and you can't digest everything that you got there. But when you can watch this over and over and over, and you have it right at your fingertips at home, it's very important. I think you're going to find a lot of success with that. We're finding that US 95 is closed at Indian Springs, and traffic is diverted through Pahrump. That's because of the flooding. Those are some texts I'm getting right now for news. So I have a video, and we shot this with you just before I went on vacation.
Yep.
And I sent it to you.
Just before I went on vacation too. Yeah.
And you know, it's one of 3. We've got 3 of them coming up. These are all going to be on our .4 channel. And I think, Patrick, you're ready for this? Go ahead and take it, and then I'll hit the space bar, and you guys at home get to see the video itself here. Okay, you see me, but you don't see the commercial. So come back to me for a second. Let me verify one thing. Did you see the video a second ago when I played it? You did? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and play it. Go ahead and take it, and I'll go ahead and play it, and hopefully it'll come up.
Hey, Pahrump, got something really exciting. This fall, House of Health.
Yeah, not seeing it. Are you seeing it?
Will air on 46.
Yeah, we're not seeing it here. So we got a technical issue there. I'm going to do one more little thing right here and see if this works for us, and see if this helps us out.
Doctors, dentists, chiropractors.
Can you see that?
And
No, you can't see it. Oh, darn it. Okay, well, for some reason, from my computer to his computer, it's not working. So I'm going to put it in a different player, and then we'll come back to this in just a minute, because I got 2 or 3 different players on my system here, and I'll put it in a different.
Yeah, I've never made a commercial before, but it was actually quite a learning experience.
Yeah, I thought that you did a really good job with it. I think that your ability to demonstrate what we needed was really good, and Jason did a really good job with the editing of it, so it turned out really nice.
Yeah, it did.
This is, I mean, literally, I asked Jason just before he went home, hey, can you drop this onto a disc for me real quick so I can go ahead and show this on the show tonight. And can you see this player? You can see that player? Okay, let me go ahead and open the size up a little bit more. Live TV. And it's a little bit grainier, but people at home will get the message. And are you ready? Okay, I'm ready too. So go ahead and take me, and I'll fire it off.
There it is.
Hey, Pahrump, got something really exciting.
Oh, it's frozen. No.
House of Health, the new local television show, will air on 46.4.
Is it freezing up on you?
Local doctors, dentists, chiropractors, veterinarians, and much, much more. We'll get into healthcare reform and learn about how it's going to affect you. Live seminars that take place in front will be aired to further educate you on the medical profession. I'm Dr. Reiner, your host. Watch it here on KPVM TV 46.4.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. That was QuickTime. I do have one more. Let's try. I mean, we got time. Let's.
Hey, Pahrump, got something.
Can you see that?
This fall.
Okay. All right. Well, we tried. We gave it a good effort. Sometimes these media players out of the computers don't always play very well, and we got to get it.
And maybe what you could do is actually run it as a commercial in between the show, so that the viewers will be able to see it.
And we are. We are going there for sure.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the whole thing about that. But the uniqueness about the show, it starts in September, and after we get it on in September, we're just going to continue to add and add to that. And your role is going to be really to help us digest some of the information and understand some of the interesting subject matter.
Yeah, and I would like to, get some of the other providers in this town who are independent on the TV, so that people will know that they exist. I mean, if you're not advertising, if it's not word of mouth, how people are going to know that you're out there providing a service for them? And there are a lot of people that provide a lot of good services in town, and people don't want to drive the 60 miles to Vegas if they don't have to. I mean, one of the things that has started to happen, and we were on break and we were talking about colonoscopies, and the hospital, Dr. Sorensen, is doing colonoscopies here, and a couple of patients have had them done, and brought back pictures, and it appears to be that it's a really good situation for them, especially when you have to do the prep, and you were asking if it was a horrible thing. I mean, I had mine. I put it off for years, and finally I had it done, but it's actually not as bad as people say it is. And I think for the viewers out there, if you're afraid of the trip to Vegas to do a colonoscopy and you don't have one of the HMO insurances in town, the hospital gives you a great alternative to having your colonoscopy done. And not that 60-mile trip. And even with the prep, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't as bad as people make it out to be. Some people do, but that's...
Our show, which could take what you just said and break that down for those that are, skeptic about doing this.
Right.
And that's the whole purpose of House of Health, because it gives you the ability to actually take the time to meet the doctor, understand the procedure. He might have, some drawings, some sketches, or he might even have some video already
Absolutely.
of it, and we can just incorporate that video right into House of Health. And
Right.
that's going to give them the ability to understand exact procedure. And that's just one procedure. I mean, if it's cardiac, if they're putting them in, these chambers and they do all this, nuclear testing and what have you, you got your kidney, you got the dialysis, there's so much.
Oh yeah,
And
you could feel. I mean, there's endless programming that could happen for that.
In between the shows too, there's a lot of programming.
Right.
We got a lot of programming that's that will not be House of Health or seminars. But when you look at the show, and if you looked at it on a spreadsheet, what you would see is you'd see a 2-hour block of House of Health, and then you'd see a 1-hour block of seminar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's 3 hours. And then another 3 hours later in the day, then another 3 hours later in the day. But in between all that is cooking shows, how to cook healthy. There's programming in there about doctors that, like Dr. Oz, not the Dr. Oz, but programs like that, that you get to meet doctors and go through different studies and stuff like that. There's information in there about exercise and what kind of exercise you should be doing on a regular basis. And if you have handicaps, there's different types of exercises that you can do to help you through that. So the whole network is DRTV, and it's about doctors teaching and educating all of us. And we can't forget about our little friends, our pets and animals. So let's get some doctors, some veterinarians on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That can talk about our cats and dogs.
Right. Well, they are. People use it in pet therapy. I mean, we see it a lot of time, to calm blood pressure and things of that nature. Anyway, we're going to go to break, and then we'll be right back to finish up the show tonight. And I remind the viewers there is a live number, 727-8750. It should be flashed at the bottom if you want to call in and ask any questions. We'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in.